What's good, guys? Black Soul here with another video, and today I wanted to talk about how to stay alive in the Division, especially if you are playing alone and you're not playing with a crew. So I have a couple of tips for you guys. I found myself playing by myself several times just because I've been a little bit busy this time around, and usually by the time I do get on, my friends are either partied up or not online at all, and now it's to the point where the levels are too high and I can't play with them. And even though I'm at level 30, they're still too high for me to play with them in the dark zone. So that's a whole nother beast, and we'll talk about that maybe in another video. So just like any other game of its type, the most important thing is going to be your gear, and in this game it's no different. They break it down into 3 different categories: your DPS for primary and secondary, health, and then skill power. So one of the most important things, in my opinion, especially if you're playing by yourself, is going to be your health. Because if your health is low, then you're not going to be able to take a lot of bullets. You're not going to be able to take a lot of damage, period. You're going to be down 80% of the time. So health is definitely one of the more important things, especially if you're playing by yourself. So when I choose my gear, I focus on gear that gives me health. And there's actually a lot of different perks or buffs, whatever you want to call it, for the gear that you choose. Like there's one where the mobile cover gives you extra health. There's one where you get health on kill and things like that. So definitely pay attention to that. Comes in handy, especially if you're playing by yourself, because a lot of times the enemies try to surround you or gang up on you, and if you're dropping them with a shotgun or SMG, whatever you're using, you actually gain health back. I had one that gave me two items that gave me 10% health every time I killed an enemy. So things like that definitely come in handy. And then the next thing that you want to focus on is going to be your firearms. So your primary and your secondary weapon. Those are going to be important because you have to be able to deal out a decent amount of damage to take the enemies down. If you're bogged down and constantly getting overrun with enemies and you're not doing a lot of damage, it's going to become very frustrating, and eventually you are going to die because you're just not outputting enough damage. And one thing that's important to note is that the DPS is not always the most important. One thing you always want to check is the actual damage for the weapons that you're using. So for example, I had a shotgun that has a lower DPS than an assault rifle. Well, yeah, that's going to be the case because the shotgun's not dealing out as much damage per second, but it has maybe double or triple the amount of damage output that say a police T821 or the M4. So you want to be mindful of that, and you definitely want to pay attention, especially when you're choosing your guns, and choose a gun that you're comfortable using that fits your playing style, because not all guns are the same. So just make sure that you're aware that the DPS is pretty much there just to show you how much damage is doing per second. But if it takes 2 hits and you drop someone, then that doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. So DPS is not the most important thing. The damage is actually more important than the DPS. And then lastly, your skill power. So this is actually probably the least important thing to me, and the only reason being is because it's not something that I can use on a constant basis. Once you use it, you have to wait for it to reload or restock, and it's not reliable. So for me, the weapons and my health took precedence over my skill power. Now that I'm a higher level, I just reached level 30 and I'm starting to get higher gear, then I may put some emphasis more on skill power. You want to have it at a decent number, just because you want to be able to use it and you want to be able to put out a little bit of damage with it. But some people actually use it to stun enemies. Like they'll use the turret, the shock turret, where it stuns enemies and keeps them from moving, and then they'll pelt them with bullets from their primary or secondary weapons. So just keep that in mind. I know that the skills are cool, they're fun to use, but you can't use them constantly, so just keep that in mind. Now, I strongly suggest you dedicate at least one of your skills to the medical category. I'm using right now the support station because it gives you health, and then I'm also using the ammo cache mod so that I can restore ammo as well. So I definitely recommend that you use at least 1 slot for the medical skill set. And the last few tips that I have are pretty much common sense. So if you're a lower level and your missions are kind of tough and you have a powerful sniper, I'd suggest kind of hanging back a little bit, picking off some of the enemies. They are going to rush you, they are going to come after you if you do that, so be prepared for that. But it does give you a little bit of time to take down some of the enemies, or at least lower their health a little bit, so that it gives you more of a fighting chance. Also, if you find a strong shotgun, it works wonders in tight situations. I can't tell you guys enough how many times the shotgun has saved my life. So if you have one that does a decent amount of damage, make sure that when you're in those close battles that you do have that equipped. A lot of times it's a one hit kill. So, and that depends on the damage output of your shotgun and the missions that you're playing. But if you're playing missions within your skill set, within your level range, and you have a pretty average shotgun, at the very least it should take you 2 to 3 shots to down them. And that's at the worst case scenario. Use cover, and I can't say that enough. Utilize the cover system. Only because when you're moving from cover to cover, you seem to take less damage. I get hit a lot less when I'm using the cover system, when I'm holding A to move from cover to cover. And then you can pop in and out of cover and let loose a couple of rounds, go back into cover. It's there for a reason, so definitely use it. And that's pretty much it. Those are all my tips. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys have any other tips, if you have any questions about my setup, or questions in general about the Division. As always, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, definitely comment below if you guys have any questions at all, and follow us on social media. That's it for today. Black Soul out. Peace.